But you're my bestie for life. Yeah, you're the family I choose. Yeah, you. The FF's till the end. We can get through this together. But you're my bestie for life.
Welcome back, everyone. Sandy
Hey,
here.
Sandy.
Hi, Terry.
How are you?
Talking over each other. We're so excited to talk again.
Yay.
Things are great. Things are great.
Things are great. Well, it's nice. I mean, summer is starting to get here, so I'm
Yes.
very happy about that.
Yes.
So the warmer the weather, the happier I get.
Oh, me too. Me too. Although I do love a good fall evening with a fire. I know.
Yeah,
anyway.
but we've had enough cool nights. I
know.
have the Jeep. I want the Jeep open and I want to go.
We did this weekend.
We
That
did
was
this
so much
weekend.
fun. We were hanging out
so
in the
much
Jeep
fun.
and we're looking for new roads.
We are looking for new roads. Yes, it was so much fun. I mean, I love it.
And how
love it.
about last episode? That was kind of fun too, reminiscing about our 20s, 30s, and 40s.
I know. And then we, you know, as we talked about Saturday when we were together, like we missed a couple things that we talked
Yes.
about
Well,
in our 20s.
We have to save some of the content for later.
We can't tell everybody all of our secrets at once.
Not yet. I mean, we still have many, many more episodes to go.
I know.
So
Well, yeah.
I'm
we'll
excited
filter
about
them.
this week, though. This week we're talking about, we're getting real, though. We're getting real this week because we're going to talk about our flaws, right? So flawed and fabulous. We're flawed and fabulous, you guys.
Oh, we are. I mean,
we have to embrace the imperfections. So we're going to talk about that today. What do you think about that, Terry?
Well, I think it's great. I have said again to people who've asked, oh my God, you've changed so much physically. Why? Like how? Blah blah blah. Like and it's more like, what are you changing with your diet? Da, da, da. And yes, I've changed stuff, but it's more. I tell people it's more the flip in my head.
Yeah.
Accepting that I am going to have a bad day and not beating myself up over it. I'm going to be imperfect, and is that right?
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Yeah, and like I don't know. It took me 54 years to come to that conclusion. So I love this episode for this.
I do too. I'm ready to just tell you all the things I know that are wrong with me. No, I'm just kidding. No, but also this is a reminder, right, that perfection is overrated.
Perfection is overrated. I mean, it's completely overrated because nobody's going to be perfect.
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
You can't make everybody happy and you're going to try to be perfect to make everybody happy.
No.
And then you end up miserable.
I agree. I think it's really important that we have an honest conversation about it because even in past episodes, we talked about I'm, making fun of ourselves or I'm my own worst critic and blah, blah, blah. I don't want to go too far ahead because we'll go down the list. But I do think that there's health in that. It is healthy to do it, but in a more positive way, as long as you can reframe it and make something of it and not sit in the negativity of it all, which honestly, I have my days, right?
Oh, well, everybody's going to have their day, aren't you? My mom used to tell us growing up and whatnot, have your day, have your moment, but then get off your ass, put your big girl pants on and go. So I've always had that in my head, but I mean, we're all going to have our days and we can't beat ourselves up over our days, right?
Yeah, I agree.
You just don't want to extend it too long.
I agree. So why don't we jump in? What do you think?
All right, let's jump. Let's talk about flaws.
Yeah, let's talk about flaws. So what do you think, Terry, are the most common flaws that women experience?
Beauty.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, let's just start right there. You and I are, we were born in 70, right?
Right.
And so what was in that year? What is that very thin model?
Twiggy. Yeah.
Twiggy. And then Farrah Fawcett, and everybody was like a size 0 minus 0, right? So growing up, it was, you had to be thin. And if you weren't thin, you were not good, right?
Right,
So
right.
beauty stuff, and I love the fact that it's not like that now. Like it's
Yeah.
taken so many years to finally come around
The
to that, but
curvy
it's finally
girl
not
is
there.
back. Yeah, the curvy girl
Well,
is back.
I'm finally in. At 54, I am finally fucking in. And I'm happy about that, you know? And even again, you know, losing weight, like I don't plan on, you know, I've said I'm not going down when you Google, you know, what's the ideal weight for a woman 5'5", 54 years old. I'm never going to be that weight. And I don't care, you know?
Yeah.
I will always be curvy, you know? I'm always going to have an ass. So
Same.
it's just not as big.
Same.
But
I mean,
the beauty
I do
is
think as we
flaws.
get older too, I mean, it's not just about the shape of our bodies. It's also about our faces, our wrinkles, our
Wrinkles.
jowls, you know, our big drops.
Right.
And I understand the people wanting to do things to make that,
Right.
to combat that, right?
Right.
But we should also, not everybody can afford it, number one.
No.
Me, I'm one of them.
I am one of them as
but
well.
also, you know, if we reframe it and the big thing on my forehead, the big wrinkle on the middle of my forehead is just an expression line. It builds character. It has a lot of character.
Oh my gosh, Sandy, it's so funny that you bring up the forehead because mine go horizontal.
Right.
I've got my horizontal lines, right? And I call them my what the fuck lines because I'm always like, that's when I'm looking at people like, what the fuck is going on? And then I get my wrinkles there and man, are they deep because I make that face a lot.
So mine is right down the middle between my eyebrows. And it is literally like, what the fuck did you say?
Exactly.
That's that line. It's the, are you fucking kidding me line?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. See? And I mean, you and I are just like, it is what, like, we're just going to say it. So
we're going to run with it.
We can't even hide it from our faces anymore.
Now, I know we might have an episode about skincare and blah, blah, blah later in the future. But I'm going to tell you, I don't necessarily want to do Botox, but I tried the microneedling. I think you told me to do the microneedling, and
how did it go?
I kind of like it. It is actually helping because the hydrochloric acid, it gets in there, and it kind of gets in there a little bit. Yeah. And then but there are things you can do without surgery, ladies, or injections. So
yes, there are. And I mean. I have a background in the beauty industry as well. And the Nivea cream, every esthetician's like, get your can of Nivea cream. It's actually the best. Like, and you can get it off of Amazon. It's the giant tin of Nivea cream from Germany. And I've always used it. And it's, I
always get all my best advice from you when it comes to product. So at some point we're going to share that with our community. I'm just saying.
Will. Maybe because here in Chicago, we're in Chicago area, and the beauty show comes here every April or whatever. We should do a live show from the beauty show and talk about the products and everything. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. That would be fun.
Let's do it next April.
Yes, I think that would be a lot of fun. But and other things, let's go.
Other more common, not just physical flaws, right? But flaws, and we talked about some of these before, but putting yourself first, not putting yourself first, thinking you're going to take care of everybody but yourself. That does you no favors.
It does not.
Difficulty saying no.
No.
We talked about that before too. And then negative self-talk, which
yes.
Which I know.
I'm terrible about it. Anything that goes wrong, I instantly okay, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
How did I screw it up? What did I do wrong? And as I've done this past week, I over fucking think everything.
Right.
As you know, about
do.
things going on, and me talking to you this past week, I over fucking think about everything, and I'm I've done it wrong. I screwed something up. I've done something wrong, and I gotta stop that. Really
no, I hear you. I think it's an easy thing to do, and I think a lot of people do it.
It's for me.
You know what I mean?
It is for me. Yes.
Yeah.
But some other things like resisting asking for help.
Yes.
There's another one of my flaws. Like,
Yep. Me too.
I'm so independent. Like, I got to do it myself. Guilt over enjoying life.
Yeah.
Difficulty trusting their own voice. I'm going to pat myself on the back on that. I've gotten a little bit better at that. Trusting my own voice.
Yeah.
Fear of starting over.
Yeah.
Avoiding vulnerability. You don't want to, look stupid in front
I don't
of
want
other people.
anybody to think I'm vulnerable. I just
Right,
don't.
no.
It's just not in me. And I
It's
feel
not.
like I wish I could change that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But even asking for help, I have to tell you just a short story. I was home, I work from home, and I was home, and my doctor, I've been battling an infection, which we won't talk about. We won't talk about it. Just get in,
Oh.
all to my own doing. All right. So anyway, so my
That's gonna
doctor
be a
prescribed me
story.
an antibiotic, and I need to start taking it immediately. And my daughter's got my car. Nobody else is home. So I called my mom and dad, and they literally like picked me up, drove me to the pharmacy. Which, when I got in the car, my dad was like, "Well, we could have just gone to the pharmacy for you." You know what I mean? It's like the middle of the day. Anyway, and as soon as I got in the car, I said, "See, I ask for help." That's because I know that's an issue of mine.
That is,
And
I mean,
yeah. And
Yeah.
I remember saying to my mother like a couple weeks ago, "Well, if I need help, I'll just ask." And she goes, "No, you won't."
no,
She goes, "No, you
right.
won't." And
I'm
so I
terrible
did it.
at
And
it.
so as soon as I got in the car, I was like, "See, I ask for help."
Yeah, I know,
got
but
my
it's
meds.
hard.
Yeah.
And
So.
and I don't know that it's out of pride that I don't think it's out of pride that I don't ask for help. I don't know. I just don't want to feel like I'm bothering somebody else.
I was just going to say that. I think it's more about burdening somebody else. Like,
Yes.
ugh, she's so needy.
Right. Yes.
Like, what?
I mean, I think that would crush me if somebody said, and honestly, like my ex, like would like in our, tormentual, like where we would not get along. If I'm like, oh, hey, I need help with this. I mean, he would treat me as if I was needy then. And it would feel like, okay, I can't ask for help because this is what people see of me,
Right.
And I think that's like, I never want to seem needy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, no, I can I will go down trying and getting it done. Like, I don't care. Like, there's one of my other flaws. I have switched my mindset on it. People stubborn. I can be, stubborn. And my mom would always say, "Oh, you're so stubborn." But I have learned to call it, I'm very determined.
Yes.
I'm a determined person, and my determination. It's my determination. I'm not stubborn. I'm determined.
I'm not stubborn. I'm passionate.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Well, no, we're supposed to be embracing our flaws. So stubborn is a flaw for both of us. So like,
Yes.
if you reframe that you're determined and I'm passionate, like it's just a more positive way of looking at it.
It
This is what we're talking about today.
Right, right.
So,
No, it totally is. Like,
Yeah.
but yes. And I always say that because my son is just like me, and
yeah.
he's determined, all right. He's very determined.
I love it. I love it. Well, and another big one is perfectionism, which we
Right.
talked about a little bit with Penny, even, right? When
Mhm.
we had Penny on and she was talking about like, you can't go into anything and expect success and perfection because
Right.
then you're just setting yourself up for failure. You
are.
So,
I would have to say in my younger years, that was a flaw of mine, trying to be perfect and trying to get everything done perfectly. And no, it had to be like this because then it would be perfect.
Right.
Unfortunately, like the reason that stopped completely in my life, is when my mom passed away, because no matter how perfect I was, all of a sudden she was gone. And, so, you're not going to be perfect, and you just have to embrace that. And I mean, it took a big thing like that, the death of my mom, for me to realize that. So if I could help anybody get over that without such a dramatic reason, I would love to be able to, because you really can't try to be perfect. You just can't.
Right. It actually, if you try, you're going to fail, right?
Right.
And if you fail, it actually lowers your self-esteem.
Right.
And so like it actually does the opposite of what you're trying to achieve.
Right. I mean, it's just a horrible circle, right? Like you're
Right.
just going round and round and, like the hamster wheel, and you're killing yourself in it, right?
Yes.
Trying to be perfect.
Yeah.
And listen, like if you're perfect and you're not making mistakes, then you're not learning either.
Right.
So
Agreed.
you have to make mistakes in order to learn. And so I have learned that making mistakes along the way. And I'm not talking about, better, but you're still going to do it wrong, or you're still going to do it. And, not those mistakes, but the mistakes of trying something new and not getting it right.
Right.
Instead of beating yourself up over it, you take it and you learn from it and to keep going and to build on it. That is, I think, the most important thing to do.
I agree. And I do think like if you have the mindset where you're continually learning no matter what the subject is, you're never going to be perfect. You're never going to be satisfied because there's always more to learn. There's always a new thing to learn, a new way of doing things. And I just think like if you can have that mindset, I think it matters,
Oh, I do too.
Now I have been accused of pretending to be perfect by, certain people in my life. And I've never professed myself as that. I just think that there's a difference between confidence and perfection. And I think I try to see life in a confident way, or I try to at least build myself up, especially when I'm not feeling perfect. And I think sometimes that could come across wrong to others.
Well, no, I agree too, because I too have been accused of the same thing you are talking about. And I think it's more, I have always tried to keep a positive attitude. Honestly, I do it more for me because
it's not for anybody but myself.
I mean, because honestly, if some of the things that have gone on in my life, like if I didn't try to keep a positive attitude, I don't know if I'd be sitting here, to be honest, but certain people have taken that as me being, you just have to be perfect and you have to, no, I'm just trying to look at things positively and I'm trying to learn. And I think anybody that doesn't, who's like, oh, I've learned enough, or I know enough about this, that, and the other. I don't care if you're an expert in it. You always need to learn something more, because the second you stop doing that, I think you become boring and you become, you should always be learning something.
I agree. 100%.
With whatever.
Yeah, 100%. For sure. For sure. So, personal reflections. So let's talk about things that, what flaws we've struggled with.
Right.
Or struggled to accept. We've talked about some of them, but is there a specific story that you can reflect on?
How we have reframed them. Let's see. I'm trying to think. God, there's so many. I just don't know what to choose from.
I know. I was just like, which one do I say?
Which one do I say? Well, I mean, the flaws, I'm just going to go back to like my weight loss, right? And people are probably tired of me talking about it, but it's a big deal for me because I'm at a size right now that I have never been my entire life. And I'm only this way again because the switch in my head, the mental adjustment in my head. My flaw was always beating myself up, always looking at myself as being the bad one, the ugly one, the not so smart one, whatever. And I literally, when I say I beat myself up, and that was mostly because of the situation that I was in, and I was not happy in that situation at all. Yeah. And I was being told those things by others, and I was starting to believe it. Right. So the flaw is, beating myself up over. And now, like with this weight loss, again, first of all, doing it just for me. I'm not doing it for anybody else. Yeah. And whatnot. And the weight has come off easier. And I'm not beating myself up anymore. Like we went out Saturday to a party, right?
Yes.
Those flippin' fucking peanut butter M&Ms, I'm like, oh my God.
By the way, I ate all of them.
No, I think I had half the bowl. And, but I did not go home that night beating myself up.
No.
The next day, I just like, okay, got to knuckle down today. And, and I went right back into my routine of how I'm eating healthier. And I didn't before I would literally be like, oh, you fucking screwed up. And now I'm going to eat to compensate my feelings of fucking up, Yeah. So, and I'm not doing that. So
I
that's
love
me
that
overcoming
so
that.
much. I absolutely love that so much. And by the way, you were never ugly. Come on.
Thank you.
One of mine, I would say, it was pertaining to motherhood, right? So like in my 30s, and I think we talked about this a little bit last episode, is your 30s are so hard, right? Because you're trying to like build a career and also build a family.
Right.
And I tried so hard to juggle and to be really great at my career and also a really good mom.
Right.
And that was impossible
It's
because
impossible.
with late nights working or traveling for work, I inevitably missed things. I inevitably missed, well, of course, I didn't go to parent-teacher conferences. Luckily, I had a partner that could, and he did. He went to the parent-teacher conferences. He was the room parent and all of that. But I felt like shit, right? I felt like a terrible mother, you know what I mean? And I beat myself up about it. So I ended up, the way that I kind of stopped looking at it in such a negative way is I actually started therapy.
That's good.
Right. I mean, because my therapist, helped me focus on work-life balance and like realistic expectations of myself. And I think we all have to be reminded, not just as women, just as people, right?
Right.
Need to be reminded that, like, if you have an unrealistic expectation of yourself, you're never going to be satisfied. You're never going to be happy with yourself. And it's just a hole that you don't want to go down,
No, you don't. You don't.
So,
and, I just think that in order to help get yourself out of it and all of that, you need to turn off the outside chatter.
Yeah.
Like you need to stop listening. Social media is good in a certain sense, but in another sense, it's horrible.
Right. And
because
you can't compare yourself to other people.
You compare yourself to other people, or you're listening to what other people are saying about you or about, whatever. And, you just got to turn it off. And you have to turn off the noise from other people. So one of my favorite bands is Zac Brown Band.
Yeah.
I love Zac Brown
think
Band.
I've heard you mention that before.
Yeah. I love Zac Brown Band. And hashtag Zac Brown Band. We're going to hashtag this one. And I want to see if let's get him on. But he just came out with a new song. And Sandy, I love the song, and I listened to it on repeat since it's been out. But the first set of lyrics, it's people keep trying to tell me how to live, and I'm just over here running out of fucks to give. I ain't worried about it. Like I have bonded with this song in so many ways because that's basically it. And that's what I was just talking about. You have to shut off all of the negativity.
Yeah.
And let's face it, there is so much negativity bouncing off of everything in the world today.
Well, it's not just your inner circle anymore. Like you can turn on the news and see just the mess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, and again, going back to the song really quick, it goes on to say, throughout all of the negative that's out there, life is really just what you make of it. And so what do you, again, it goes back to what do you want in life and just focus on that. And these flaws, like you've said, let's turn them around into positive attributes that can
Right.
help you get to what you want, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
There's my song lyric.
I love that. I might have to start listening to this. So
Oh, well,
send me
I
the
will send
song.
you. I will
What's
send
the
that
name
to
of the song for the audience too?
I Ain't Worried About It by
I
Zach Brown
ain't
Band.
worried about it.
I
Okay.
Ain't Worried About
Is
It
it
by Zach
country?
Brown.
Is it a country song?
So, I mean, it can sound countryish. Little known fact or a little big fact. I mean, it's been out there. When they started, I mean, they have a lot of it sounding islandish or whatever, but they had to choose a genre, and he only chose country because he knew more people, he would get it out faster.
Oh,
Because the other genres, because when you start putting it out on Spotify, like even when we put this out, we had to pick the category what it goes under. And I'm like, well, okay, it can go under this, it can go under that, it can go under this. And so he picked country because, and he's from Georgia or whatever. So he picked country because he thought that it would go out, his music would get out faster, and it
smart.
did. It took
So
off.
smart, yeah.
Yes. So, yes. So it is listed under country, and it's his guitar playing, whatever. But I love the song,
Yeah.
because that's, I don't have any more fucks to give. Like,
Yeah, I love that.
you don't,
I love it so
like,
much.
so
I did do a little bit of research about
of course.
self-acceptance. Not
Yes.
a lot, like just a few bullet points. And I thought these were kind of interesting bullet points. So,
Yes.
according to a 2022 study published in Self and Identity, self-compassion, not self-criticism, is strongly associated with higher self-esteem and emotional resilience.
I agree. We've talked about giving ourselves grace, right?
Yes, of course, of course. And then a Harvard Health report noted that perfectionism is linked to anxiety, depression, and burnout, especially in women. Goes back to what we're saying, unrealistic expectations. You're going to
right,
be
imperfection.
You're going to be burnt out trying to hit those thresholds.
Right.
Sure.
I did have, for the first time in my life, going through towards the end of my marriage, and dealing with all of that and trying to be perfect and trying to make it work and trying, because we had the kids were younger at the time. And I remember going to Target, and to get stuff. And I'm fine. I go into Target and everything, and I'm on the escalator going, I don't know whether it was going up or down. I don't remember. And all of a sudden, I thought I was having a heart attack. I could not breathe. I couldn't take deep breaths.
Yeah.
And I ended up in the hospital. And they ran a gamut of, tests. But at the end of the day, they're like, you had an anxiety attack. Have you ever had an anxiety attack? I'm like, no. I'm like, oh my gosh. And when I get myself all stressed out, that's what happens, and it's not worth it. It's so not worth it.
It really isn't, especially if you feel like you're having a heart attack. That's the scariest thing ever,
Which I think happens, because I know some other women who have it because I've talked about it, and they're like, oh yeah, that's happened to me, and that's exactly what it feels like, that's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is. I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
No.
And then the last point was the University of Texas did some research showing that practicing self-kindness improves well-being more than chasing high self-esteem through achievements or appearances. So basically, just be kind to yourself. Give yourself grace, right? Yeah.
Before you start giving grace everywhere else.
It's so funny when you look at them, you read those things, you're like, okay, well, that all makes sense. It's like common sense. But when you're going through it and you're like,
in the moment,
yeah, you can't. Like, I mean, your mind doesn't always work.
My mind is overthinking everything.
Everything. I know. You've got to give yourself grace on the overthinking too.
I know. But I also need to stop doing it.
So we talked about positive practices, and you said it earlier, Terry. So I'm just going to tell you the first one, and then I'll let you take the rest. But name it and reframe it, right? When you catch yourself self-criticizing, you flip it into a strength or a lesson.
Yes, I'm very determined. I'm a very, very determined person.
And I'm very passionate.
So some others are mirror talk. 1 minute a day, affirmations in the mirror. It says do it even if, you feel silly. And that's where I don't do it because I'm like, this is stupid. You are great. It reminds me of that SNL.
Oh yes, yes. And you and people like you. Is that the end
And
of it?
people like, yeah, people like you. Like every time, I mean, I've tried it, and a lot of people do it. And yes, I have to get over the feeling silly at first kind of stuff and feeling, awkward about it and just do it. And,
Yeah.
but that's SNL comes into my,
I
like
love that.
all of us who were in the 70s and 80s watched Saturday Night Live, which was the best years of Saturday Night Live, by the
I
way.
agree.
Some others we do gratitude for the messy middle, acknowledging what your flaws are, have taught you, and resilience, empathy, grit.
Yeah.
Like look at the positives in those negatives. Like what are
Yeah.
you learning from these?
Well,
Joyful.
I also do think, sorry, I didn't interrupt
No,
you,
that's
but I
right.
also do think like when you've gone through it and you've kind of like embraced your flaws and you hear somebody else
Right.
doing the same thing to themselves, it's
Right.
easier for you to share. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like that's
Yes.
when you have empathy for them because you're like, oh, I've been there. Like
Right.
let's all give ourselves grace, but also give each other grace. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I especially with my friends, like today I was with a friend and we were talking and like he said something and it was like a negative towards himself. And I'm like, wait, no, like that's not, that's not you. Like I don't want that. Like let's look at this positively,
Right.
And
yeah, I just think we're all prone to do it. You know what I mean? We're all prone to do it. So we just have to support each other in that. Okay,
absolutely. Joyful rebellion. Do something imperfect on purpose. Sing badly, wear the bold lipstick, post an unfiltered selfie. Anybody who is following our TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, we just posted an unfiltered video. I mean, video is a big thing for me.
Right.
And no filters on it. And so
I think
do those things.
I know I kind of love that we did that. And also this is not my thing. It's not your thing either. So it did speak volumes that we were able to do that.
It does. I mean, it is, okay. And I'm going to say this because now we're going to have to do it, Sandy.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Well, before
I know what you're gonna say.
Yes, I'm going to make sure we do it. I mean, so we're going to do a little live, check-in on TikTok and on Instagram on Sunday because we're getting together on Sunday.
Yes.
Unfiltered, just checking in with everybody, listeners. So,
keep
an eye out. I would say it's probably around the 7:00 hour-ish.
Central time,
Chicago time. And we'll check in on what we're doing that day and live. And we're going to go live, no filters, nothing's, no net. We're going no net.
We're just doing it. We're just going to jump off with no net.
We're jumping off with no net.
Okay.
Let's do it. Like a joyful rebellion. No filters. So yeah, everybody. Oh no.
This is probably going to air 2 days after we do the live.
Oh man.
Because we need time to edit.
Okay. I didn't think about that. All right. Well, we'll do another one. So
just keep an eye on our TikTok and our Instagram and like just
we're going to pop in all the time.
We're going to pop in and out. We're going to try to do more live videos.
We are. I didn't even think about that. Dang it.
I know. Dang it. I know.
Oh, all right. Well, let's go to your turn. Let's just get off of us now.
All right. Do you want to do last week? Yeah.
I will do it since I already screwed up the joyful rebellion.
No, you did great.
Last week we asked people, what's one lesson you wish you could go back and tell your younger self? There's so much I would love to tell my younger self.
No kidding.
But we did receive from Kennedy. She wrote, I'd tell my younger self to stop losing sleep over every small mistake. Most of it didn't matter as much as I thought it did. Life feels a lot lighter when you stop making every bump in the road a mountain. How true is that?
Oh, I love that. And when we talked last week and we were talking about our 20s,
Yes.
everything was a mountain in our 20s.
Everything is a
Oh,
mountain,
did
right?
you hear what this girl said about me? And it was a mountain. And now I'm like,
Because she didn't like my hair.
who
Like,
is that
what?
girl again? And now I'm like, who's that girl again? Yeah. So dumb. So dumb.
So dumb.
But yeah, I love that. I love that comment, Kennedy. Thank you for sending it in.
Yes. So next week, or this week's question that we're going to ask you is, what is one flaw you've learned to embrace, and how has that changed your life? I want to hear from people.
I know. Let's get some response, you guys. We want to hear
Let's.
from you.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, you're going to do the challenge this week.
So I never do the challenge. You
You
always
never do that. I
Okay, I'm
know.
going to steal Terry's job. And
Just for today.
we have a challenge. We are calling it the Perfectly Imperfect Challenge. And what we want you to do, and this is just for you and nobody else, we want you to write down 3 flaws you've been ashamed of. And then next to each one, write that how that flaw has served you or shaped you. I think you'll do a little soul searching and you'll find that, this flaw is probably what makes you unique and special and awesome.
Right.
So,
I think that's great.
yeah, absolutely. Do you want to do the rule of the week, Terry?
Of course. I mean, I got to do something. All right. Rule of the week. Our rule this week is you don't have to be flawless to be powerful. The real glow up comes from embracing what makes you feel real.
Yeah.
And I can't agree with that more. Like,
I love that.
I haven't felt this good about myself in a long time. So, and it's
Well,
just about me embracing me.
You have a lot to be proud of. And,
we do too.
well,
I don't like a lot of attention on myself.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. No,
that's
but
my
it is
flaw.
true. Like, that's the other thing I just want to say is, like, you've worked really hard, Terry, at your weight loss, at your getting healthy, and you're doing it all for you. And I'm sure part of our audience have stories like that. And I just want to say that everybody should be very proud. Anytime you take the smallest step towards your end goal, it could be a small step, a big step, but even the smallest step should be celebrated.
It should. I mean, it took a lot of baby steps to get to where I'm at now. And those baby steps should all be applauded,
agree.
And, when I would lose like a couple pounds, I'd be like, yay, but in the gist of things at the time, 2 pounds was like nothing, but every week it added up and added up and added up. So you should celebrate the little ones just as much as the big ones.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So big takeaways here are, let's just embrace our flaws, you guys. Like, just let's turn them into a positive. No more self-harm, not self-harm. That's not what I wanted to say.
No, right.
Negative self-talk is what I meant to say.
Right.
Absolutely no self-harm either.
Absolutely no self-harm. Right.
But I just, I think that there is a positive way to do that. To kind of embrace our flaws, and we're here for you, even if you just want to send us a quick note and ask our advice.
I mean, even if you want to talk, like,
you just want to share. And if you want to
share,
you don't want us to say anything about your share, we don't have to. So
no, absolutely not.
We just want you as part of our community.
Exactly. So speaking of that, teasing next week's episode, what people might not know, Sandy, next week's episode is our last episode of season 1. Can you believe it?
I cannot believe it. That's episode 12, right?
Episode 12. We're going to do 12 episodes a season.
Our season 1 finale.
Our season 1 finale. I mean, it's gone by so quickly.
It really has.
And so we're going to just kind of go over like our first season and whatnot. But I do want to tease a little. We are going to take a break for the 4th of July week, I believe it is. We're going to take 1 week off, where we're not going to have a new episode out, just 1 week. But then we're going to come back with season 2 and some new things. I'm not going to say what they are, but I'm so excited.
I know. I'm so excited. But I also want to encourage, and we're going to do this in the finale, I'm sure, but I also want to encourage feedback, right? Because we want to hear from you on what you guys want to hear about. We We've gotten some loyal listeners, which I'm very excited about.
I love what people have said, written to us via text, via message, whatever, about the episodes. And by the way, I have heard nothing but how funny episode 9, the dating episode. I told you I was going to bring up the dating episode. The dating episode was.
We'll recap that in the finale. Yeah, I mean, hysterical.
Yeah, hysterical. Yeah. This, yes. Oh, we'll do another episode on that next season.
I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm
sure we're going to do more on dating. I'm sure this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Just the tip.
Oh my God.
All right, stop.
I know.
All right.
I know.
Well, I just like everybody to remember every road leads somewhere new.
And the best part, we get to make the rules.
See you next time
on
New Road, New Rules.
But you're my bestie for life.